Good morning. It's Monday, July 17th, 2023. My name is Terry Morgan. We are here to practice Wudang Dragon Sword. We are reviewing the sets, reviewing some basics, and paying attention to some of the fundamentals for sword this morning. I have changes that I'm going to talk about. So, first thing, is that I'm going to finish this week. We're going to review a little bit more tomorrow and Wednesday. Fundamentals for sword, some of the basic leg stretches, some of the leg work that we've been doing. And then I'm going to take these 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. I'm not really off, but yeah, I'm going to take a couple of weeks. I'm going to continue Thursday and Friday with the qigong classes. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for about 2 weeks, I will be working on other things. One of those other things, excuse me, is sorting out what I have so far with the sword form and putting it into, I'm going to say, more consumable presentation. So right now I have videos and I have some information and I have some this, I have some that, right? I've got different pieces of different things in different places. My my goal, right, is to bring that all together, and you're gonna like this one, I think. Put it in a book. Now, the video I can't put in a book. I can do a little bit better job of cataloging it, and the playlists are actually pretty good. The way that I present is sequential, so we've got that same, it's the same as if I was teaching an in-person class. With collecting all of the details, so there's part of the original instructions that I have in Chinese. There's my translation of that. And there's an opportunity for some pictures. So what I want to do is take everything that I have. I got a lot. But I'm going to start with sword because we're finishing up. Alright, take what I have. Find out what's missing. Because I might have a picture that I should have this picture, but when I was doing it in a form, I don't have a good image, right? I might also go ahead and put my silks on to do those images. Well, we'll see. At any rate, there will be eminently, not sometime in the future, eminently, Wudang Dragon Sword in book form. And together with that, Wudang Qigong in book form. I am going to republish Wudang Qigong, and I had a look at that yesterday. This is from our original book back in 1999 that we published, worked on in 98, 99, that will be available again imminently, not far down in the future. This is part of why I'm taking time off. Okay, I'm not going to be not doing anything and just Alright, the other thing that is changing and will be changing is that as I finish these collections, I am looking at changing what we do in this class, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, as well as what I'm doing with the Wudang Qigong classes. I haven't made any decisions yet. I'm just considering what I'm doing, what kinds of things I might be doing, and how that fits with my teaching and what I haven't taught yet, as well as what I've been teaching. So I'm still working on that. The qigong book and the dragon sword book. It's July 17th. Chances are real good I do the qigong book first. It might be done by the end of this month. All right, I said imminent. It's happening. All right, so it could be done even sooner. It depends on when I decide to sit down and work on it, and that could be this week, as a matter of fact. All right, so that's happening. More things. Excuse me. Wudang Tai Chi book. Okay, I have the original Chinese. I could republish that book. I published it previously. I could republish it with just the Chinese. I don't think that's a good plan. If I'm going to do it, it should have both the English and the Chinese. So I need to work on that translation. That's going to take me not that long, but one of the things that is required particularly for this is someone who knows what's being said, because if I put it through, I used to be able to put it into Google Translate and it would work all right. I'd give me a dictionary and I could work with that. Now it puts it through probably some AI thing that's stupid, can't be trained, and doesn't, what used to be good, somebody went and screwed it up, basically. Alright, so it's going to take me a little bit longer than it might otherwise. That insight to what the name is of a movement, Yunshou, cloud hands. If you don't understand what that means in Tai Chi terms, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, let's get started for this morning. That level of understanding. Do you know what I'm talking about or not? Do we understand the names of the movements? Do we work, how much of what we're doing is available to us through the names of the movements, the name of the form, the basis for those names? Dragon sticks out its claws, right? And how much through the history and fundamental development that we know about, that we can bring to our own practice. Feet about shoulder width apart. I'm going to talk about that again in a minute. Feet about shoulder width apart. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, open the shoulders. Hand circle in front, back around to both sides. Up along the center line. Reach out. And again. And one more time. Fingertips reach up. Elbows drop down, wrists, hands return to your sides. Right leg front, left leg back. Open it up and sink and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and sink more. Come on up, other side. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and sink more. Come on up. Alright, as we're practicing this idea that I talked about just a minute ago, what do we know about this form? What do we know about this art? What do we know about what we're doing? Right? A couple years ago, I had a lady call me up. She wanted to know something about what this qigong thing is. What's this qigong? What's this qigong? What's this qigong stuff? I don't know what this qigong thing. I want to know about this. Well, isn't it this kind of thing? Tell me about this. This over here. It's this. This is what it is, isn't it? It's because this is what I learned. Because I know about this. And I said, well, come to class. It's not what you think. Oh well, you have to tell me what it is, and you have to tell me everything. You teach me in class right now because I have to know this. Well, it's probably going to take a couple of lessons for you to understand the concepts that I'm talking about. So you come to class. It's a free class online. You're welcome to watch class. That sense of wanting to know. She was calling me up. She wanted to know. But she put her own barrier to learning. She put her own barrier right there. It has to be what I think. It can't be anything else. It can't be something different. It can't be another concept that I don't know anything about yet. I still have to learn. That sense, she still, I don't know if she still got a wall or not, but she got herself wall. Says, here's my wall right here. Here's, I got a wall, and I'm gonna, well, maybe, but it has to be what I want over here. No wall. Come over here. Nice space. It's better. That letting go of our own limitations. She limited, she put a wall there. She limited herself. I don't want to learn to do this. It has to be what I want. It has to come over on my side of the wall. My side of the wall is what I think. And if it's different than what I think, then I got a wall there. You know, maybe put a window in it. You can put a door too. You still have a wall, but you can have a door. I just walked around it, but you know. That idea, I put my sword in the other room. That idea that when we're starting out, we don't know. We're not going to know. Right? I'm learning something. I'm trying to do something that I don't know. Maybe I've learned a little bit, but how do we approach that? And once we get started with what is it that I'm learning? Where does it come from? Why is this more important than that? Or why are they both important? What's it telling me? How do I use it? How do I learn from what I'm doing so that I can do more, that I can do something else? What is it that I'm really working to develop? Good sword. trying to develop for my sword practice? What am I really working on? Okay, because it's not the 13th century, it's not the 14th century, 15th century. We're not back in the old days when people carried swords. We're not. Okay? Unless you're going to a costume party, a Renaissance festival, martial arts tournament, some event, Comic-Con, something where you're going to carry a sword, we don't do that. Okay? We don't have the just let me I'm going to carry the sword right here, right? I got a sword in my belt. I got a sword, right? Back here. It does work that way. The strap across front, sword like that. That doesn't happen in the movies, in different events, but we don't. It's not a modern thing. Why pay attention to it? Why would I want to learn this? In tradition, it's my challenge, right? In the tradition, it talks about needing 1,000 days to learn the broadsword, single-edged sword, to learn the fundamental. This is not to become perfect at it. This is to learn the fundamentals. What am I doing with the broadsword? Right? 1,000 days. 10,000 for jian, for the double-edged sword. Now, there's part of that which is language relevant. There's part of it that's numeric relevant. Okay, so there's 1,000 days for this, 10,000 days for that. There's a comparison, right? Which one has, right? The finesse with the tip as well as with the edges takes a little bit more than the slice and the slice across, slice down, come around, slice up. The movements of a dao broadsword. The figurative reference, 10,000 days, is it takes forever. 10,000 days is forever. So that number, 10,000, when it reappears, or when it appears, it doesn't mean the number 10,000. In a lot of cases, especially in the lore, in the folklore and the martial arts, it doesn't mean 10,000 of anything. It means everything. It means all of it. 10,000 days means forever. You're never going to perfect each and every movement. It's just, you're going to keep working on it. Right? Broadsword, yeah, you're going to keep working on it. It may take you a little bit less time, but it's still going to be an effort, right? But this takes more, and that appealed to me. I wanted to learn something that was more difficult. I did. So, as we are paying attention to this idea, this concept of 10,000 things, in the lore, and apparently I'm teaching lore this morning as well as sword, I don't know, there's a verse. 岛上一，一上二，二上三，三上万物。One, 10,000. Wu, things. 岛上一, from the Tao comes one. 一上二, from one comes two. From two comes three. 二上三. 三生万物是，三生万物。Shi is a complement to things, so you can add it. It's a kind of it's a compliment. I don't know. It's a grammatical thing that you can add if you're talking about things. Okay. Wan wu, 10,000 wan wu things. That notion. From 3 comes everything. Now, I'm not going to explain that today, but I can explain in philosophical terms and in the figurative terms exactly what that means. There's whole books that have been written about that, just that particular phrase. Okay, so in sword practice, as we bring that understanding, as we bring that history, people used to do this. Where does this go? Why am I the dragon? This is a double-edged sword. What am I working with? Right? We bring that level of understanding to the form. We develop not only the physical skills that we're working on, so we work on some physical skills, we also develop a greater sense of what we're doing today, what I'm doing today, fits in that history. Where am I in that broad sphere of things where I'm practicing and I'm working on this? Well, I'm not in the 15th century, I'm in the 21st century, right? I'm 21st. All right, 2023, here we are. So why am I practicing? I've talked about this before. That sense of placement and position and being able to, in a very real but very figurative sense, cut through all of whatever it is. Now, I can see that. I know what that is, and right? If I'm paying attention, if I'm trying to extend, and I'm bringing all of what I know to that movement, what happens if I do that with slightly different intent? Because I'm not thinking about slicing somebody, I'm not thinking about there's a person, I'm thinking there's stuff that I need to slice and dice, cut it up, and move it away, right? Now, think about what I just did. If I'd had a cake, I would have been able to offer you a slice just now. That sense of what do I have, what can I do with it, I just did it. I wasn't thinking about, let me give you a cake. I wasn't. But I could. That level of comfort we develop. And that level of being able to see where I'm going, focus on it, pay attention to it, know how I'm going to approach it, right? That's different than this, right? That level of understanding and that extension. So what I do with my hand is not the same as what I would do with the sword. Is not the same as what I would do with a staff or a short staff or short blade, right? That sense of how can I extend through this is fundamental to what we're doing. Alright? Very first part. I'm going to do it again. Go the other direction. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Pay attention to this. And I'm going to say this, because I need to say this. My expectation is right now that anybody who's watching this has already been through class. Okay, so this is not this is the wrap up. This is the review, right? And so there are things that I'm doing which are based on that expectation, I'll put it that way. That I'm moving quicker, that I've got a little bit less verbal, that I'm not marking through each move. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. As I'm traveling, that sense of paying attention to where I am in the room, how much space I have, where I need to go with the form, and how I get there. How many applications does that thought process have? I'm in a new city and I want to get to the hotel. I'm at the train station. How do I get there? What do I need to do? What's right? This pattern that we have, sword, dragon sword, gives us not only the pattern itself, but the way to do it. Alright, so the train station, I got to get to the hotel. How am I going to do that? Am I going to walk? Am I going to take a bus? Is there a train? Is there a local tram? Is there how do I get there? How am I going to do that? Right? Each movement in everything that I do has its own character. It has its own internal feeling that needs to be part of. Doesn't have, not at the beginning, it's not going to be, but ultimately, right, we're not at the beginning anymore. Okay, ultimately needs to be part of what we're doing. Okay, so trying to think which is going to show this. Let me think about this. I mean, I got to do this. Hang on. Each movement has that sense of my interpretation. It's my interpretation. It has to be. Right? What is dragon? What is dragon sword? What am I doing here? What am I paying attention to? Why move this way? Why turn that way? What waist, hips, everything, right? This goes. What am I doing? Right? Dragon. How does a dragon move? It's Eastern dragon, not a Western dragon. Okay? And I was talking about that before. That wall, is if I tell the lady over on the other side of the wall that it's a dragon, she's going to think of a Western dragon. Everything out of Western folklore, right? It's not. It's an Eastern dragon. And they have a different character. Right? Tending to be a little bit benevolent, but also still quite aggressive. Right? And that sense that a dragon isn't a passive creature, it's not. Okay? It's not. This is not. I'm thinking of a couple of things that it could be, and each one of them has a character that could lend itself to being a sword form. So I'm leaving that out for now. All right, dragon. Right, dragon, and the character of a dragon. I'm going to do this again. And I'm going to do this twice. First time, and I'm just the opening, just this little bit in the opening. Okay, the first time, I'm going to pay attention to the movements, but not quite there yet. Okay, not quite there yet. I'm looking into furniture, even though I'm not going to move that quickly. I'm still looking into place. Okay? And okay? that little bit, right? I've basically got it. I have a general idea of what I'm doing, right? I can move through each of the movements. I get there. It's not... A little different. Yeah. That sense of understanding, of knowing what's possible. Right? So I have to know how low can I go, right? I got to know what's possible for me. I have to also know that as I begin to move, I need to pay attention to several things, including how I move, the speed at which I'm moving, the way in which I'm moving, and how that's connected with what I'm doing with the sword. Right? That difference here. Just basic beginner, okay? Now let's put that together with jian, the internal energy, qi, the internal breath, shen, spirit, that sense of character, that sense of animation, that it's not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, that there's something a little, that there's some backbeat to it, there's something going on there that we need to understand and we need to use. We can't understand it until we know about it, and we can't use it until we understand it. Just it. This process, whether it was this sword or whether it was something else, this process of looking at something that we don't know, from the beginning sword we don't know, this dragon sword we don't know, looking at the process of what we don't know, starting with the idea, yeah, I want to learn that. What do I need to know? What do I need to develop? What skills do I need to have in order to do this? We have external skills, we get to internal skills. External skills, your physical movements, body placement, body position, being able to use the muscles, right? We started out with leg sets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Being able to do that with facility, okay, and Facility means you can pretty much do it at will. All right, that's the qualifier. You can do it at will. You don't have to think about it, just do it. That level, yi, mind, shin, heart. These are the internal connections. As we develop those, together with the outside connections, the upper body, the lower body, knees, elbows, hands, feet, right? Keeping the shoulders down and relaxed, holding the head straight, pulling up through the back. All of these combine to give us the end result, which is the ability to do another level of practice, because that's what happens. As we bring all of these elements of practice together, we discover that there's a whole other level of practice and for me, fun, that comes with that sequence. 1, 2, 3, right? It's fun. The turn, I like the turn. I like the twist. I like this one too, right? I do. I like that move. If I didn't like it, it wouldn't have the same character. It wouldn't. That level of practice, that's where we really want to go. Let me be comfortable enough with the physical movements. Let me be adept enough with the physical movements. And so I'm not stumbling, I'm not tripping, I'm not having a balance problem. I've had those. I still have those with some things. Right? I've managed to correct some of it. Not perfect yet, but hey, better than I was. Alright, that process of development, as we get better at what we're doing, we don't have to pay so much attention to, yeah, am I in balance? I'm going to hit my balance point. I hit my balance point. Now what do I pay attention to? Pay attention to how I hit the balance point. What's the dynamic of the movement? What's the direction and level of force? And then, once I have that, right? I've got the dynamic, I've got the breathing, I've got all that. Now I'm going to bring in the character. What's the character? Well, yours. The kinds of movements that I like may not be the same as what you like. That's fine. I've had any number of students that didn't like particular movements that I actually liked quite a bit, and liked something else that I didn't. It's okay. That's why there's a bunch of movements in the forms, right? We learn some things and that's one of the traditional things that I want to emphasize. We learn some things that we may not particularly like. Do it anyway. Because it's part of the canon of learning that we should have, that we need to have, to bring to what we're doing. Okay? I can go and I can pick and choose. You know, I'm going to have an apple, and I'm going to have an orange, and I'm going to have some grapes, and I'm going to leave the watermelon, and I'm going to leave the pears, and I'm going to leave, I only want the red grapes, I'm going to leave the white grapes over here. I don't want those, right? I don't, I'm going to pick and choose. And that's what's going to go in my salad, right? That's what's going to go in my can. The things that I've learned, I pick and choose. if I do that, the chances of something being missing are great. They're good. They're really good. Because I don't know. Just like the lady on the other side of the wall over here. She doesn't know what qi is. This qigong thing. What's this qigong? She doesn't know. If I only pick and choose what I want, I'm never going to know anything. Let me try to open up a little bit. Let me try to understand a little bit. And how can I do that in a way that's not self-limiting? How can I not put those limits on myself? She put that limit on herself. I didn't do it. She did. How can I do that? Part of that is the sense that, and I teach this a lot in qigong class, part of that is coming to class with the sense that the mind is empty. And it's not, well, I'm not thinking anymore. No. It's, I'm open and not cluttered. I'm not going to try to impose my perceptions on what we're doing in this class. I'm going to try to understand whatever I'm being told. I don't have to agree with it, I don't have to accept it, I just try to understand it, right? The more I can understand, the better my own judgment, the better my repertoire of what's there, and what can I do with it. That's something for me. What can I do with that? I can do something with that, I know I can. Right? And it's not, and again, I talk about this all the time, it's not necessarily there's an opponent here and I'm, right? You know, I'm, could be, but not really what I was thinking. I'm thinking bring the tip across and in and out. And as I pull it back, twist. That sense of what did I want to do? Was I able to do it? Do I have the extension through the tip of the blade to be able to do that? Yes, I do. Where's it come from? Well, lower Tantian. It's not out here in the wrist, right? That extension and how we develop it, again, goes back to character, goes back to bringing what we have to the form. All right, that goes for all of the forms, not just sword form. All right, I'm going to wind up today. I'll be back tomorrow with more sword. So we're doing sword Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. So today's Monday, right? Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to wrap up more. We're going to work on sword a little bit more. And then I'm going to wrap that up. I'm going to take a couple of weeks to put some things together. May have to re-record some things. I am working on this imminently, so here it comes. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Bye.